It was supposed to be lighthearted and fun, the kind of segment Stephen Colbert's show was known for, especially when featuring a Hollywood veteran like Danny DeVito. The audience roared with laughter as Danny waddled on stage, arms spread wide, cracking jokes before even sitting down. Colbert welcomed him warmly, but from the very beginning there was a subtle tension. Danny, known for his bluntness, seemed less playful and more defiant than usual. When Stephen asked a harmless question about his new project, Danny shot back with sarcasm, turning the topic into a jab at the industry. The audience laughed nervously, unsure if it was all part of his comedy style or something deeper simmering beneath the surface. Asterisk. The conversation shifted when Stephen pressed Danny on past controversies, particularly about his outspoken political stances. DeVito leaned back in his chair, smirking, and said, "Oh, so that's where we're going, huh?" Colbert chuckled, trying to frame it as good-natured banter, but Danny wasn't amused. His voice dropped as he accused late-night hosts of using actors for viral moments instead of real conversations. The crowd gasped, then laughed awkwardly, waiting for Colbert to steer things back. But Stephen, never one to back down, responded sharply, "Well, Danny, maybe if your answers weren't built for Twitter fights, we'd have a smoother time." The tension exploded like a crack of lightning. Asterisk. Danny leaned forward, wagging a finger at Colbert. "You sit there every night, Stephen, acting like the moral compass of America, but let's be honest, you're in the same game as the rest of U.S. ratings." His bluntness stunned the studio. Colbert attempted to hold his ground, smiling tightly, but the spark in his eyes betrayed irritation. "That's rich, Danny, coming from someone who's played caricatures his entire career." While preaching authenticity, the audience erupted with oohs, the moment officially shifting from banter to confrontation. Cameras caught Danny clenching his jaw, visibly struggling to hold back. Asterisk. What tipped things over was Stephen's next remark. "You've made a career of being funny and lovable. But maybe people don't want to hear lectures from the guy who starred in Batman Returns as a penguin." The insult, veiled as humor, hit hard. Danny slammed his hand on the table, leaned into the mic, and snapped. "You think because you hide behind jokes, you can say whatever you want? I've been around longer than you, kid, and I don't need your approval." The audience gasped. Again, some clapping in support, others frozen. Stephen tried to recover with humor, but the tone was past saving. Asterisk. Danny abruptly stood up. His chair screeched across the floor as the audience went silent. Colbert, taken aback, attempted to defuse. "Danny, come on, don't do this." But DeVito waved a hand dismissively. "I don't play games for laughs when I'm being disrespected." He tugged at his jacket, glanced at the crowd, and added, "Enjoy your ratings spike, Stephen." The audience, half-seared, half-set stunned as Danny DeVito, in full view of the cameras, walked off the stage. The house band hesitated, unsure whether to play a riff or let the silence linger. Asterisk. The live taping came to an awkward halt. Stephen tried to smooth it over, turning to the camera. "Well, folks, sometimes the show doesn't go the way you plan. We'll be right back." He forced a laugh, but his usual sharp delivery felt shaky. Off stage, staff scrambled to calm DeVito, but he refused to return. Social media was already ablaze, as studio audience members posted clips, each capturing Danny's fiery exit. Within minutes, hashtags like #DeVito storms out and #Colbert clash were trending worldwide. Asterisk. The following morning, news outlets everywhere replayed the clip. Some commentators sided with Colbert, claiming Danny was too sensitive and overreacted. Others defended DeVito, praising him for standing up against what they saw as Colbert's smugness. Memes flooded Twitter, comparing the penguin walking out of Batman Returns with Danny walking off the Colbert stage. The incident transcended typical celebrity gossip. It became a cultural debate about late-night television, authenticity, and whether comedians sometimes cross lines. Asterisk. Meanwhile, DeVito remained unapologetic. In an impromptu interview outside his home, he shrugged off the controversy. "I said what I said. If you invite me on, don't expect me to be a puppet." His words further fueled the fire, with fans admiring his refusal to conform. Colbert, however, addressed the incident in his opening monologue the next night, turning it into comedy material. Last night, Danny DeVito stormed off my set. On the plus side, now I finally know what it's like to get kicked out of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The audience roared, but critics argued the humor was a cover for deeper embarrassment. Asterisk, the feud escalated as fellow celebrities chimed in. Some actors praised Danny for keeping it real, while others defended Stephen as just doing his job. Talk shows debated it endlessly, with commentators suggesting DeVito's actions reflected a larger frustration in Hollywood with being cornered on political issues. The clash had evolved from a single fiery moment into a cultural flashpoint, sparking conversations far beyond the entertainment industry, asterisk, whether intentional or not. Danny DeVito's dramatic walk-off ensured the confrontation would be remembered for years to come. For Colbert, it was both a challenge and a ratings bonanza. For DeVito, it was proof that even after decades in Hollywood, he remained unpredictable, fiery, and unafraid to break the rules of late-night TV. Together, they created a viral moment that blurred the line between unscripted drama and performance arch-reminding. Everyone that lived television still has the power to shock, divide, and captivate. The day after the walk-off, Danny DeVito accepted an invitation to appear on a morning radio show in New York. He didn't waste time softening his words. Look, Colbert's a funny guy, but he thinks every interview's about scoring points. I've been in this business for half a century. I don't need to play second fiddle in someone else's comedy routine, he said firmly. Listeners flooded the station's phone lines, some cheering him for being candid, others calling him overly sensitive. Danny, though, was calm, even playful at moments, cracking jokes between his sharper comments. The duality fascinated the public, how he could be both endearing and combative, at once. Stephen Colbert, on the other hand, appeared unusually subdued. During a behind-the-scenes podcast he recorded later that week, he admitted, "I pushed harder than I should have." Danny's a legend, and maybe I forgot the difference between roasting and respecting. His fans praised him for being self-aware, though cynics accused him of damage control. The podcast clip went viral as people dissected his tone, some claiming it sounded genuinely apologetic, others calling it performative. For a man who prided himself on controlling narratives, Colbert seemed uncharacteristically vulnerable, which only fueled more curiosity. Producers at CBS, sensing the massive attention, secretly reached out to Danny's team to discuss a possible reunion episode. The idea was risky but tantalizing. What if Danny returned to the stage and the two men hashed it out in front of America? When reporters caught wind of the negotiations, the buzz intensified. Hashtags like #round2 and #makeup or breakup trended, with fans posting memes of boxing posters featuring Colbert and DeVito. The public had become addicted to the drama, treating it like a serialized TV feud rather than a one-off incident. Danny, however, wasn't eager to reconcile. In a brief TMZ clip, he grinned mischievously and said, "If Colbert wants me back, he better bring cannolis and an apology." The line was replayed endlessly on news shows, his Jersey humor softening his harder stance. Behind the scenes, though, his representatives were cautious. They worried about him being ambushed again, about another viral gotcha moment. For Danny, trust was the real issue. Was Colbert capable of giving him a platform without turning it into punchlines? Meanwhile, celebrities continued weighing in. George Clooney called the clash a masterclass in unscripted television, while Whoopi Goldberg defended Danny during The View, saying, "You don't mess with DeVito, he's real, that's why people love him." Joy Behar chimed in too. The commentary only deepened the divide. Some saw Danny as a rebel, standing against late-night snark. Others saw him as thin. Regardless, everyone was talking, which meant both Colbert and DeVito were winning in ways neither could have planned. When asked again about the incident on a red carpet, Danny leaned into his signature raspy humor. "Hey, I'm 79 years old. If I want to storm off a stage, I'll storm off a stage. I've earned it." The reporters laughed, but Danny's tone carried weight. He wasn't embarrassed, and he wasn't seeking forgiveness. For him, the walk-off had become a statement about self-respect, not a stunt. Colbert, watching from afar, purportedly felt torn-part admiration for Danny's unfiltered nature, part frustration at being painted as the antagonist. At CBS headquarters, executives debated strategy. Should they push for the reunion episode, or let the feud breathe longer to keep public intrigue alive? Television thrives on drama, and this was gold. Yet there was a risk. If the reunion went poorly, it could cement Colbert as the villain and tarnish his brand of satire. One insider leaked. Colbert wants to fix it, but he stormed off 2 scenes from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Twitter. Users demanded a rematch. While Instagram accounts posted side-by-side memes of Colbert look and Danny defiantly walking away, the incident had transcended both me